But now we're on camera. You're in front of your mic in a way that nobody can see you.
Sorry.
Nobody wants to. No,
That's
people
me.
do.
You're a mean guy.
No. Do anything non-podcasty you just want to chat about?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I'm in a bit of a video game lull.
A lull?
My wife and I started playing Overcooked 2.
Right.
Starts you at the very base level, so we're
Right.
like overcooked
Gods.
demigods,
Yeah.
basically, for that. So that hasn't been super fun. Not too into the Tomb Raider reboot,
the
and I'm not
2013.
too into the original Assassin's Creed, so I need to just...
Assassin's Creed 1 is a garbage game.
Yeah,
Sorry, man.
that's been my experience. So no,
everybody
that's pretty
says the
much it.
second one's better, but don't you have the pirate one?
I do have the pirate
That's
one.
supposed to be the good
Yeah.
one. Matt Ryan's in that.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
actor, not the football.
We could talk about
quarterback.
Cher, but I figured I would say that on the actual podcast.
Yeah,
as
that
well,
makes
so.
sense. You love Cher.
I do.
And that's why she's guest starring on this episode today. No.
Not really.
No, she wouldn't.
She'd be mad if she heard you say that.
Really?
She
Why?
wouldn't be afraid to tell you. What episode are we on? 192?
Yeah, 192.
Cool.
Somebody hasn't been paying attention
All right.
for 192 episodes.
You're right.
Well, it's a whole bunch of
I thought we were on episode 7 or 8.
What is that? The House Rabbits Phlebitis? 7 is Joyce Carol Oates?
7 is Joyce Carol Oates. You're right.
Yeah.
That's fun.
Yeah, it'd have to be.
I love the old school.
Yep. Ain't no podcast like the old school Joyce Carol Oates
It's fun. Every
centered.
once in a while, like
podcast.
I'll need to figure out something we said in an earlier episode, like
Right.
when we're compiling lists or something.
Uh-huh.
I'll go back and listen to a few minutes of some of the early days. It's
Uh-huh.
fun. I enjoy
Yeah.
it. Still.
We were so young then.
It's different.
Yeah.
It's different, but it's also very much the same. So
Right.
take that as you will.
Where we have younger faces, but our spirits have always stayed at like a good 22.
Absolutely. What do you guys think of the new logo? Anybody who's watching right now? I like it.
Don't do that.
I like the colors. Really?
I don't know.
I'd love to test drive it. If people hate it, we can do something new.
Look, if you people hate it, don't say anything.
Well, you can tell me.
You can tell Nick in a
I
private
like it.
message,
I
and
like
then
it.
he will find, hopefully, a subtle way to
I
hint
like
at
it. I like the color.
Thank you.
I like the color.
The yellow and the blues.
Yep.
You know what I was doing when I made this?
What?
Watching Aquaman.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That makes sense. It should be orange and green, but yeah.
No, I didn't pick it for the colors of Aquaman. I was
Oh.
just letting you know when I was designing that cover.
Okay.
I was like, oh, Aquaman's on.
So that whole Aquaman thing was a lie.
No, it was... I was... let's just do the episode.
Okay.
192. Here we go.
Okay.
Cuckoo, Cachoo.
Yep.
That's something Aquaman says in Aquaman, the movie.
Does not.
He says, cuckoo, Cachoo, Black
No, he
Manta.
doesn't.
and
No,
he
he doesn't.
stabs him.
No, he doesn't.
I'm sorry, that's not on the podcast now.
Oh, see, some people like it. Thank you.
Who's this? Is your
Oh,
chat
it went away.
working?
Yeah, it went away now.
Oh,
I refreshed. But anyway, thank you for the compliments.
yeah, my chat's not working.
All right.
All right. Thank you. All right. Wonder Man. Wasn't that so funny when I tweeted you?
Yeah, it was.
With the Wonder Man
It
thing?
was.
So-
It's a long-running joke with the thank you Wonder Man from the 90s Avengers game.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Wonder Man.
My wife hates it.
Yeah.
My wife hates
I don't understand that.
it. Yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things.
Okay, let's do this.
Let's do it.
Welcome to episode 192 of the All the Books Show, recorded at the David A. Howe Public Library, where we talk book news, author news, and literary news. And sometimes really old books that
Yeah.
have maybe stood the test of time.
That's true.
Maybe have won Nick's childlike heart over
Maybe they
again and
have.
again.
Maybe they have.
Maybe something Disney
Yep.
has apparently shown a great love for.
Have they?
We'll talk more
I guess
about
they've
it.
done it a couple times. All right.
I'm Eric Mickles.
I'm Nick Gunning. Later, Jessica Weischek's going to be joining us when we talk about Treasure Island, which is our
Yeah.
theme for the week. We're having a special theatrical event here at the David A. Howe Public Library on May 4th. A two-person rendition of Treasure Island. They have a really cool setup, so hope you can come and join us for that if you're local. If not, they travel all around the country. So look at Hampstead Theater
Yeah.
Company is what they are, so you can check them out other places as well. But neither Erica nor Jess nor I had ever read Treasure Island.
Did you call me Erica, or did you say Eric?
I said Eric or Jess.
I heard
Huh. I didn't call you Erica.
Okay.
But
You know,
anyway,
I wouldn't mind.
none of us have read Treasure Island, so now we've remedied that, and we're going to chat about it a little bit later.
Eric
We
is
also-
one of those names where if...
No,
go on.
please.
Go on.
We're also going to be talking
It's
about
great
some
anyway.
literary awards, including the Edgars, which
Ooh.
were announced last week, and the short list for the Women's Prize, which was just announced as we record yesterday. So we'll give you some highlights on that coming up.
Also,
Yeah.
please rate, review, and subscribe to
Absolutely.
this podcast
Absolutely.
at YouTube, SoundCloud. We're on Spotify now, wherever you get your podcasts.
Yeah. We-
Every piece of review and rating
We get a lot
helps
of
us
it does. We get a lot of nice feedback on social media and other places, but our reviews online are shockingly low. So if you want to help us out, just
Nick's
take a
being
minute.
a little bit too honest there.
Take a minute. No. Take a minute and just write a quick review. It's the most effective way to get other people to find us. So we appreciate the help. So thank you very much.
If nobody listens to this podcast, we get fired, and then we're on the street, and then we're doing a street podcast.
Street podcast.
Oh, that's not so bad.
That's not. No.
All the books on the street?
Yeah.
That'd be kind of fun.
Yeah, it's a big microphone.
Yeah. We talk like, what are you reading?
Yeah, it's just one of those dollar store microphone that echoes.
Let's... Okay, that's dumb, but let's do this anyway.
You want to do a man on the street?
Yeah, we just walk through New York City and ask people what they're reading.
You know, if you haven't listened to our travelogue episode that we went all over Seattle, I was really... Eric did a good job of putting that episode together.
Thanks,
I enjoyed that one a lot. So go back and check that out.
What episode is that?
I don't remember.
Okay. Nobody's prepared. You're looking it up right now.
I was going to, but
okay.
I thought you were going to keep talking. But
about what?
Let's go ahead and do the old bookmarks.
Okay.
Everybody.
Bookmark.
So let's open it up.
All right. Do you want to go first?
Sure.
Because you're always so sad when you don't go first.
Am I?
No.
Oh, okay.
I made that up.
Well, this is, as we record, it's the last day of National Poetry Month. So for my last little
longest
poetry
month
corner,
of my life. No, I'm fine.
I read a collection called Coins and Coffins. We have this in a collection of this author's work in a set called Trilogy, and it's 3 of her short books together. And I've always been intrigued by that. I've always wanted to read it. So I picked it up and I read the first in the collection. And again, that's Coins and Coffins. And let me tell you, this was kind of, I don't know, spooky's not quite the word, but it was very atmospheric.
Let's go with it anyway.
You know, like you read the poems and I'd finish them and be like, I'm not exactly sure what that means, but I'm feeling things. You know what I mean? Like it put me in a very like, whoa, kind of, you know, like
that's what happens when you're feeling things. You go, wow.
Well, it was not like Christopher Walken, just, you know, it was like,
whoa, I'm feeling things.
Thank you.
Sorry.
That was Eric, not
that Christopher Walken didn't just stop it.
He's not here, but I think he says yes to everything, so he might.
That's true. I heard he only says no to a project if it conflicts with another project he's doing.
Interesting. So you just got to get there first.
Yeah.
So we could ask him to do this podcast and say like 2025.
Yeah.
He's probably not booked.
Yeah. Booked?
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. Here are some things that I read. I'm going to start first with the graphic novels.
And you just said the thing you read. Coins and Coffins.
Yeah, but that was my poetry corner.
That's right. Uncle Nick's poetry corner.
Here are the graphic novels that I read. I read Rise of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles with art by my old high school friend, Chad Thomas. Hello, Chad.
That's pretty wild.
Yeah.
Do you not find that wild?
I do. I sent him a note on Twitter, and I was like, hey, I love this book. It looks great. And he's like, thanks, man.
Wow,
that's all.
That's fun. I don't have any friends in the comic industry.
Oh, sorry.
None. I mean, you met Steve Englehart.
Steve Englehart, yeah. And Elliot S. Magan, who's on the show.
And we talked to Elliot S. Magan, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Anyway,
Joe Haldeman did some comics.
That's true. Forever War. He was working on Forever Free, or they just finished it.
And I met Frank Thierry. I think I said his name wrong.
Anyway, this is an adaptation of the new Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle show that's on Nickelodeon.
Do you like the character design of the turtles?
I think that it works really well in the show. For the tone of the show, it worked well. I don't think it adapted. I think the look was good, but I don't think that the story adapted to the page as well as it just didn't work as well because so much of it is the charm and the timing and the interplay, and so you don't really get that in print. But it was still, it was decent. It was not bad. Let's see, what else did I do? Oh, I finished the IDW Star Trek series with Star Trek Boldly Go Volume 3. So this was preceded by a 13-volume.
Yes, it was.
Star Trek, just a weekly comic. And then they sort of rebooted after Star Trek Beyond, and we got 3 volumes of this. And I'm sad to say that this was not a good end to the series. So
it's not your Star Trek Beyond of the comic series.
No, it was kind of sad.
Hey, I'll let you know this, though, because you love hearing this. Yeah. I saw somebody today over at our comics just scrolling through all the Star Treks. Yes. He picked up the Peter David collection.
Yeah, that's a good one.
So
that's a good one.
There you go.
For more on Star Trek, you can go to our Star Trek Spotlight, All the Books Beyond, which is episode 48.
Yeah.
You can find it at soundcloud.com/allthebooks.
Did we talk about Star Trek?
And all the others.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of our highest rated episodes, Mr. Whiny Pants over here.
I'm not a whiny pants. I wear khakis.
You have wine pants. Anyway, so I'm kind of sad to finish that series because that's 16 volumes and it's all gone. There's some more IDW stuff that I haven't read, but that's probably it for the Chris Pine era stories of the Chris Pine era.
Maybe.
I think so.
Maybe.
I think it is. I haven't read we have the YA series, which I'm surprised you bought.
I didn't.
I bought that
yes,
without
you bought it for
without your blessing.
It's fine.
That's right.
It's fine.
That's an abuse of power. That's shameful. Anyway, I haven't read those, but this was not a great ending. But the original series that we have down here, 13-volume set, is very good. So check it out. Finally, for graphic novels, I read Universe's Finest, and this was a Batman Superman, the end of the New 52 era. Pretty good space story with why can't I remember his name? The main man,
Superman.
Lobo. It's a Lobo story, but it was actually pretty good.
Oh, I like Lobo.
I know you do.
Oh.
Here are some books I've read. There I did it again. Boy.
Yeah.
Do you want to start editing the podcast again so I don't sound like an ape? Anyway, I finished Infinite Tuesday by Michael Nesmith, and I mean, if you haven't listened to the Michael Nesmith interview, that was just recent. So go back and listen to it.
That's true.
Good
we
times.
Just talk to them. Oh, good times.
Hey,
like the Monkeys album. The Monkeys album by
Yeah.
Michael Nesmith.
Anyway,
Wow,
Infinite
you
Tuesday
were not into that.
is his autobiography.
Uh-huh.
I love the way it's written, but I don't feel like the story ever quite gets as deep enough. You know, it really. I didn't expect him to talk a ton about the Monkeys, but boy, he made that come true because he does not talk about the Monkeys very much.
Huh?
Nothing about their relationships.
Does he hate the Monkeys?
No, he doesn't hate the Monkeys. I think he just always kind of viewed it as like a job and, enjoyed them, but wasn't really like, where his center was, which is totally fine.
Yeah, when people
but I
ask
still
me,
wanted to hear more about it.
When people ask me about Nick, I usually say, "Oh, that's just a lamp from work." I tell people you're a lamp I have at
Tell
work.
people I'm a lamp.
I don't know.
If I understood that, I'd be hurt by it, but I don't. I read Infinite Tuesday, and if you're a Nesmith fan, you're probably going to enjoy it. And I enjoyed it, but it was not as good as I hoped that it would be.
You gotta
just because it didn't focus on what I wanted it to focus on, and even the solo stuff, I would have liked to have been more about like, here's this album, here's what we did with this album, but it really wasn't. It was a little broader than I wanted.
With
Yes.
When people talk politics, usually they have to give like each candidate equal time.
Yeah.
Do you now have to go read the Mickey Dolenz?
Hey, you know what? It's right there on my shelf.
Is it?
It's right up
There you
there.
go.
I got it.
Yep.
And then finally, I read Crisis on Centaurus by Brad Ferguson. It's a Star Trek book. And this is for my book club of the future. This is not a library book club that we do, but just one I do with some friends. We alternate between Star Trek and Star Wars. We're finishing Crisis on Centaurus, and we're going to be reading the new Padme book from Disney's.
Nice.
Who wrote that? Do you remember? Same
No.
one who wrote the Ahsoka book.
No.
Okay.
Not,
It's called-
oh, yeah. Starts with a J.
Okay. It's called Queen's Shadow, so we're going to be reading that next. It's new in our YA section, although all the copies are currently checked out, so that that's a bit of a problem.
Padme's big business these days.
I guess she
Do you
is.
remember? I was thinking about this today because I was playing a game where the princess has kind of like a head piece that like Padme had.
Yeah.
Do you remember like what a big deal like Padme's fashion in Phantom Menace was like as a pop culture thing?
Yeah.
I don't know. We just kind of like seem to have like forgotten it.
Yeah, I guess so.
It was just such a just the
maybe
makeup and everything.
maybe this book will bring it back.
Okay.
And then, I mean, we probably ought to just cancel everything else so I can talk about Cher for the next 90 minutes.
Oh boy.
Because my
Get
wife
ready,
and
everybody.
I went to see Cher at the Quebec Center for the Here We Go Again tour. A little background on
On Cher.
Okay. I love Sonny and Cher as a kid, which is fine. Weird. I understand. But
That's
I
fine.
did. In high school, my mom, my friend Becca Gresley, and I tried to go see Cher.
Shout out to Becca.
Hi, Becca. With Cyndi Lauper. We drove
Whoa.
all the way there, and it was a couple hours away.
Uh-huh.
We got all the way there. The guy at the gate was like, beat it, Cher's sick. Concert canceled, not rescheduled. Didn't see Cher for 20 years. But this past Friday, we did. And it was so much fun. We had great seats. She sang pretty much, you know what?
What?
She sang most of the things that you want, but she did not sing Gypsies, Tramps, and Thieves.
Oh, that's my favorite Cher song.
Or Dark Lady. Or Half-Breed, which makes sense. But like those three are like her 70s trifecta, and she didn't do them, so I was surprised. She did do 3 ABBA songs because of her new ABBA album, which I could sort of take or leave. But
Did she sing Smoke on the Water by Deep
No.
Purple?
no.
Oh.
You just curious?
Yeah.
Okay. No, but she sang Shoop Shoop song. She sang, what's the one I told? Walking in Memphis. She did Believe. If I Could Turn Back Time. She did a whole section of Sonny and Cher songs where there was like Sonny was on the screen and she was singing live. It was great. I didn't cry, but I
Did
felt
you
it.
cry?
No, I didn't, but I felt it. Anyway, so that was great. So if you want to go see Cher, go ahead. And do we have her new album? Do we have Here We Go?
Yeah.
The Mamma Mia?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. You can check out Cher's new album here at the David A. Howe Public Library. And I think that's going to do it for me.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that was Nick's.
And I'm reading Battlefield Earth. That's it.
And he's reading Battlefield Earth.
Battlefield Earth.
Yeah. Is it bad?
You know what, Eric? We're going to have to talk about this more at a later date, but I have now read 450 pages of this book, okay? So which means I'm at the halfway point, and I really like it.
Yeah.
I really like it. And
cover-
I think that we need to talk about it.
The cover's something. It's got this guy with this crazy looking mask, and then maybe a guy who looks like a very blonde Conan the Barbarian.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's Johnny Goodboy Tyler. That's the guy. Yeah.
boy,
Turl is the villain.
right?
Johnny Goodboy Tyler is the hero.
Okay. Yeah. Nick hates Dune.
I do hate Dune, but you know what? What I'm liking about it is it's set on Earth, obviously. So they're stumbling across like old Earth ruins of things we recognize. I'm always a sucker for that.
Right.
It moves really well. You know, I mean, like I said, I read 450 pages of this book. I'm not tired of it.
Wow.
I'm not bored. I'm not like I gotta finish this thing. I'm just enjoying the ride.
Well,
And when you look into some of the reviews, Robert Heinlein had nothing but good things to say. Brandon Sanderson. I mean,
yeah.
it's a pretty well-regarded book, and I feel like this movie came along and just decimated any respect people had for the book.
Yeah.
So,
all right. Well,
interesting.
you did read it. You did finish another book that I also finished.
What was that?
That was Artemis,
Oh God.
which is much shorter than what you've read, and yet it felt like the longest book
Listen.
in the history of the world.
Listen, Artemis is what, 300 pages?
I'm going to give you an exact count right now.
Please do.
Artemis by Andy Weir. Wearing thin on my patience.
Gosh.
There we go. 305 pages.
305 pages. And let me tell you, this book that, like, normally a book like that, what would you say, 2 days?
Yeah.
This I was reading for literally for weeks.
Yeah.
And I
I
couldn't do it.
I had a third left maybe Thursday.
Yeah.
And I put it down.
Yeah.
And then I just couldn't make myself get
Yeah,
back to it.
I know.
And then yesterday I was like, okay, I got to do this. And it felt like I read Treasure Island
Yeah.
from cover to cover
Yeah.
yesterday
Yeah.
in one sitting. And I couldn't finish the last like 100 pages of Artemis
Well,
without
again, 450 pages of Battlefield Earth,
Yeah.
no problem. 300 of this.
I felt like I was just stretched all over my furniture, just being like, I don't wanna.
I know. I feel exactly the same
So-
way. I mean, this is not the point of the episode, but we've both read this, so let's
We
talk
both
about
read
it.
The Martian.
Let's
We
talk
read this
about it a
because
little bit.
we are doing a sci-fi book club here at
We
the
are.
library.
Yep.
Last month we did Caves of Steel.
Yeah, Isaac
and
Asimov.
This month we did Andy Weir's Artemis because it's new.
Yeah.
Everybody loved The Martian.
And that's part of the reason why we chose Artemis was because we figured anybody who'd be interested in the book club has likely read The Martian.
Yeah.
So Artemis might be a nice, newer choice. But
Yeah.
I mean,
It was bad.
it was bad. The characters were bad.
His writing is just bad in this.
Yeah, it is.
In The Martian, he's stranded. He's by himself, so he doesn't have anybody to talk
Yeah.
to. And in this book, the character has plenty of people to talk to.
Well-
and you kind of think maybe The Martian's good because he didn't have to write dialogue.
I think the setting of The Martian. I mean, there were some scenes on Earth, so there was some light
Ugh.
dialogue. But like, I think with The Martian, all of the tropes or the things that if not to be insulting, but like if you're not a super skilled writer in that way, like
Yeah.
you can't fall back on any
Yeah.
of those things because there's just one man on Mars.
Yeah.
So like you have to have your research, you have to set it all down and do it. And so he accomplished that. And The Martian is an excellent book. If you
Yeah.
haven't read the book, you should definitely read it.
Yeah.
It's absolutely worth it. But this one, I felt like it was very cliched. It was not an interesting heist novel. It was not an interesting sci-fi novel. There's very little of the
Yeah.
science that made Martian cool.
Yeah, in The
it.
Martian, he's constantly talking about the science and the math, which is both his enemy and his friend in trying to survive. He's like,
Right.
I only have this much protein, and
Yeah.
this is only going to get me so far energy-wise. And in this, it's just like every now and then he sprinkles it on, but it's just, even now when he talks about it in this, it just feels like homework rather than
Yeah.
interesting.
And there's also, it feels like there's no stakes.
Yeah,
You know,
nothing.
it's really like,
The book is marketed as a heist on the moon,
Which
but
is
that is over
silly.
at the first third of the book,
Yeah.
and then the rest is aimless.
it is.
So,
Yeah, it is.
yeah.
It's funny because like I really like I one-starred this, which I don't do very often.
Right.
And I got to the end of it and I just like it's a kind of book that it was just making me angry.
Yeah.
And I finished it was just like I hate this.
Yeah.
And I feel like I have read books that were more
Yeah.
poorly written that I liked better. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And this just
I would only suggest
failed.
reading Artemis on the dark side of the moon, where there's no light for you to actually read it.
if you're in a situation where you're stranded on an island or Mars, and the only thing you have is a copy of Artemis, and it's either go insane or read Artemis, really see if you can come up with an alternative.
Yeah. I mean, it's kindling.
But if you're listening to this right this very second, come join us for the book club on April 30th. If not, stick around because next month we're going to be talking about Neuromancer by George Gibson.
I did not like when I first read it.
Oh no!
What? Well, that's why I wanted to reread it because I think I just didn't understand it.
Okay.
I think this time I'm going to go in knowing what it is.
I did not need to hear that right now.
No.
All right. So that's my bookmark.
That was my bookmark too.
Oh, that was your bookmark.
Yeah.
You finished your bookmark.
I finished Artemis.
You finished Artemis and Treasure Island.
Yes.
Bookmark end.
No.
Oh, okay.
Oh, wow. Yeah, I finished Treasure Island.
Yeah.
We'll talk about it later.
Sure will when Jess joins us.
I read a Street Fighter graphic novel called Street Fighter Volume 1, Round 1 Fight.
Oh.
Round 1 Fight is what it was called. This is, I think they're Udon? UDON. How would you say that?
I don't know.
Anyway, that's the graphic novel company that puts these out. They're retelling.
I'm not familiar with them.
They're telling the plot of the games, basically. This isn't like, and the further adventures of the Street Fighters. This is, though I would definitely read and watch that show.
Yep.
So this actually takes place before Street Fighter 2.
Oh.
And
so no Cammy.
No, Cammy shows up at the end. Cammy, I didn't know this. I did not know this. Cammy used to be mind controlled by Bison.
I thought she was like a clone of Bison.
Maybe. I haven't got to the clone part yet.
Sorry.
But Cammy used to work for Bison, for Shadaloo, and she killed Chun-Li's father. Yeah.
Blew my mind.
Yeah, he just did a hand thing around his head to make it look like his head exploded.
Yeah.
So I just found, but then one of the other characters erased her memory and gave her a new life, and now she's Cammy, Interpol agent.
Oh, so she's good now.
Yeah. Kylie
Minogue, call your agent.
Ken has a super cool fight with Vega, and to give you an idea of like why I like this comic so much, all they have to do is use their moves from the game, and I smile. Like Ken uses his spinning kick move against Vega and kicks him right out a window of a high-rise apartment building, and I'm just like, yeah, take that, Vega. So it's a good time.
Yeah.
Akuma shows up to fight Ryu, so that's good stuff. Sakura's there, and she's like, "Will you train me, Ryu?"
I don't know who that is.
Sakura, she's a younger girl who has Ryu's kind of fighting style in the games. She's cool. Anyway, and Chun-Li shows up, and she also like one of the characters is like, "Oh, I'm out of here," and tries to turn the corner, and all of a sudden you just see a bunch of feet, and it's just like, poof, 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 poof. It's Chun-Li kicking him.
Nice.
So, I'm gonna keep reading this. My sister got me the hardcover. Street Fighter Classics Volume 1.
Wow.
Which has the first 10. It was a late Christmas present, but it's the first 10 of these. So, I don't know. You probably only like these if you like Street Fighter.
Yeah, I like Street Fighter.
All right. I'm starting. I haven't opened it yet, but I'm starting. Now that I finished a bunch of books I don't want to read, I'm reading The Consuming Fire by John Scalzi, which is the second book in his new series. I can't remember what the series calls, but the first one was The Collapsing Empire.
Wow.
Okay. That's it.
I haven't read that. I haven't read any of his. I've had Old Man War forever, and I want to read it.
Wasn't it a gift? Didn't I gift it to you?
No, I don't think so.
Okay. Are you just saying that because I did?
No.
All right.
I remember buying it at Savers.
Nick,
Yes.
back in episode 168,
Yes.
we did a Super NES versus Genesis.
Oh, we sure did.
And the one thing we couldn't compare between Nintendo and Sega was movies.
Yeah.
Because Nintendo had only done the Super Mario Brothers movie.
Sure.
And Sega had done nothing.
Right.
Sonic the Hedgehog just got a trailer today.
Yeah.
And you watched it. You're a longtime Sega and Sonic fan. And Jim Carrey fan.
Yeah.
Jim Carrey playing Dr. Robotnik.
Yeah.
So.
Look, Jim Carrey didn't do anything in that didn't make me laugh.
Okay.
So Jim Carrey had my number for that. But I don't know what executive or what person with any kind of authority saw that Sonic character design and was like, let's go with that. Skinnier legs if you could. Skinnier, more feminine legs.
He's like he looks like a very thin man in a baseball mascot costume.
He does.
With the big oversized head.
He absolutely does.
It is the worst design.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
And people have noticed he has human teeth. Like just human flat teeth
in
his mouth. But yeah, there's a scene where he like stretches his legs by pulling them back, and it's just like, oh
yeah, it looks gross.
It is gross. He's just and he doesn't have gloves.
Right.
His paws are white.
Yeah.
But he wears sneakers. So anyway,
that's weird.
And it's all to the soundtrack of Gangster's Paradise, but it's the first time I've ever been annoyed by that beat.
Yeah.
And I was just like, how did they do this?
They made Gangster's Paradise annoying.
There's a Fitbit comment.
Yeah.
There's a child abduction joke
Yeah, I guess.
with James Marsden.
Yeah.
Poor James Marsden. Guy
that's
cannot
weird.
catch a break. As someone as handsome as James Marsden,
Yeah.
he should at least get a break.
He should at least get an agent, I would say. I mean, someone's got to read these scripts.
Yeah.
Because a man can't choose a movie.
Yeah, Wolverine stole his agent as well.
I guess he did, yeah.
Stole his girl, stole his
Look
agent.
out.
So,
All right.
what's the last time you remember seeing James Marsden in something like, oh, that was good? Is it Hairspray?
That commercial that he did?
What?
Have you seen that theatrical commercial where it's like a interstellar type space thing and he goes out for Skittles or something? Did you not see this?
No.
Oh, you got to look it up.
Oh,
It's
all right.
funny.
Well, James Marsden, just do the Skittles thing,
Yeah, on behalf
but more.
more Skittles.
So, all right, poor Sonic.
Yeah.
Poor Sonic fans.
Yeah.
So,
I know, I'm hurting.
your son's going to want to see this too because he likes Sonic
He
now,
does.
right?
Yeah, he does.
Hey.
Yeah. Super Mickey.
Super Mickey. There's no Tails
Yeah.
in there,
Well,
which
they
is a
gotta
bummer.
save something for the
I
sequel.
can't imagine the horrifying look of
Hey,
Tails.
you know what?
What?
That might actually be considered a squeakquel.
Oh, son
That
of a
might be a
gun.
case where it is
All
a
right,
squeakquel.
what are we talking about now? I can't do
It's
this.
book news.
All right.
It's book news. Do you want to? You know what? Let's do the awards first. Let's do the awards.
Okay.
All right, roll it.
All right.
So
Rolled.
first, the Women's Prize for Fiction, the shortlist has been announced. Now, the actual prize won't be announced until June 5th, so you'll have plenty of time to read these. Several of these we already have in our collection, and we can certainly get the rest of them. And here they are.
Oh, okay. So the Edgar Awards. Do you want to explain what the Edgar Awards are?
No, I'm saying the Women's Prize for Fiction, the shortlist.
Oh, that's where we are. Sorry, everybody.
That's right.
I was getting the Edgar Awards
I know
out.
you were. I know you
I'm
were.
sorry.
Ordinary People by Diana Evans.
Okay.
My Sister, the Serial Killer by
God.
Oinika. Oh, the bottom's cut off. I'm
Uh-huh.
sorry. I can't read the rest of it. My Sister, the Serial Killer.
Hmm.
Milkman by Anna Burns. Now, this just won the Man Booker Prize last year.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, Milkman.
Yep.
Did you read that?
No, I didn't. But I did read An American Marriage by T.R.E. Jones, which was
Oh.
excellent.
Mm.
I reached out to her people to see if she could do an interview with us, but she's not doing interviews right now. So we'll try again later. That was an excellent book. If you haven't read it, I would recommend it.
Okay.
The Silence of the Girls. I can't quite make out the author. Pat Barker, it looks like.
Pat Benatar?
Not Pat Benatar.
That's too bad.
And Circe by Madeline Miller, the book that just keeps popping up.
Yeah.
That confuses me.
Maybe people are buying it thinking it's a book about the character Cersei from Game of Thrones.
Maybe.
She's
Maybe.
bad news.
Anyway, you can follow the Women's Prize for Fiction on Twitter, or you can go to their website, womenprizeforfiction.co.uk, and we will have the winners for you in June.
All right.
Now, the Edgar Awards.
Edgar Award winners.
The Edgar Awards are announced annually, and they focus on mysteries and thrillers.
Mm-hmm.
And we have a pretty, I don't know. Some of these make perfect sense to me, and others don't.
Nick just got real sad real fast.
No, I didn't. Do you want to let's start towards the bottom of this list. All right.
Oh.
So
okay.
you want to go from the top?
No, let's do
Okay.
Let's do whatever you just said.
Okay. So there's a new award this year.
Mm-hmm.
The G.P. Putnam Sons Sue Grafton Memorial Award.
Yay.
The winner for the first inaugural award here is Sarah Paretsky's Shell Game,
Mm-hmm.
which was published by HarperCollins.
That's what some people call Super Mario Brothers.
Dun, 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 dun.
You know, shell.
Yeah, because of the
tur-
shells.
yeah.
The turtle shells. Absolutely. When does the red ones chase you? When is that?
What?
When does that start? Number 3?
The red shells
Yeah,
chase
the red
you?
shells are different.
Mario
than the-
Kart.
But aren't they different in the games, too?
I don't remember.
Oh, okay. Anyway, the Mary Higgins Clark Award.
The red
This-
shells, they keep bouncing back and
That's it.
forth.
Yes.
The green ones hit something and they're
And
gone.
they pop.
Yeah.
The red ones, yeah. Anyway, the Mary Higgins Clark Award. This is funny. These are given to winners who follow sort of the Mary Higgins Clark philosophy of it has to be like a strong woman doing her own thing. They can't be
Drunk?
overly violent or
Oh.
like crude or anything like that. So the winner this year was The Widows of Malabar Hill by Sujata Masi.
Okay. Malabar Hill.
Let me
That's
see here.
where I
Oh, do you want to
wanna
talk about
be.
the YA and the Best
gimme.
Juvenile Awards?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I wanted to keep doing my Beverly Hills parody,
I wanted you to as well.
but I guess that was just me.
Yep.
All right, so we're talking young adult.
Yep.
So the young adult winner this year is another. Oh, Contagion was up.
Mm-hmm.
These are supposed to be mysteries.
They are, yeah.
I guess Contagion's like a sci-fi mystery.
Now, this Contagion was featured on one of our Sexy New Book Clubs. And then
Yeah,
you
and
did
then I read it,
as
yeah.
well. Contagion by Aaron Bowman. Did
Yeah.
not win.
No.
But was in the
The
finals.
winner is another award winner, though.
Yes.
Sadie by Courtney Summers.
And this won many things. I know it won the audiobook award, but I think it won a
Boy,
few
Nick has
others
a
as well.
sour face when he's talking about the audiobook award. It's like somebody just poured lemon into his eyes and he made him sad.
Just stop it.
And he turned into a goldfish.
No, I didn't.
A guppy?
Stop.
Who has the sad face? Catfish.
Of a fish?
Yeah.
Catfish looks sad.
Okay.
Yeah,
he has
they
a
do.
catfish face.
Best juvenile.
Best juvenile is The Other Wood by Peter Hotman. So,
Props to Eric Mickles over here because we
Hey.
already had these in the collection.
yeah.
We
Well,
were on top of it.
and Contagion.
We were on top of it. Yeah, that's true.
So.
All right, the best critical or biographical book was Classic American Crime Fiction of the 1920s by Leslie S. Klinger. So this was like an anthology of classic American
It would
crime
have to
fiction
be, yeah.
from the 20s.
Sorry.
Best crime fact, Tinderbox.
Oh.
The Untold Story of the Upstairs Lounge Fire and the Rise of Gay Liberation by Robert W. Feisler. Best paperback original, Allison Galen's If I Die Tonight.
Oh, jeez.
Which, oddly enough,
Ah!
sorry,
That was so scary.
we have in hardcover, so I'm not...
Right.
I don't know.
But it won the
that happened.
paperback award.
I know, it won the paperback award. That's what I'm
Maybe
saying.
that's a special library binding.
Yeah, it must be. Or it looks like maybe it's a book club edition. But
Okay.
anyway, If I Die Tonight
What?
by
Oh. Yeah.
Allison Galen.
Yeah.
Best first
Every night
novel.
before I go to bed, I tell my wife, if I die tonight, burn my comics.
burn
Yeah.
them.
I don't want anyone
can
else.
I have 'em?
No. No one else can have them.
Okay.
Do you know how many X-Men comics I have? How much joy is in there? It's mine.
Okay. Best first novel. So, surprisingly, Where the Crawdads Sing by Delia Owens was not selected as a winner. Sometimes the big runaway ones are the ones that take it. The Last Equation of Isaac Severy by Nova Jacobs was a popular one here, and my wife loved it. Also did not win, so sorry.
Oh,
The winner was...
what?
You were going to talk about Where the Crawdads Sing. Go ahead.
My wife just finished Where the Crawdads Sing and loved it.
Loved it? Oh,
Yes.
nice. Okay.
I think she gave it 5 stars.
Well-
she said it was very emotional at times, which I didn't realize it was that type
Yeah.
of book. And she just loved like every part of it.
Huh.
So
Yeah, well, I think I sold this before, but I had the audiobook on hold, and then I didn't have time to do it, so I put it back, got back on hold, and was
Yep.
number 80 on the list.
Yeah.
So I'm never going to see that. But
right,
the
the
winner
winner.
was Bearskin by James McLaughlin. And finally...
and it got a blurb from C.J. Box on the cover.
C.J. Box, the man himself. Best novel. I'll tell you all the nominees for this one. The Liar's Girl by Catherine Ryan. House Witness by Mike Lawson.
Oh.
A Gambler's Jury by Victor Mathos. Only to Sleep by Lawrence Osborne. A Treacherous Curse by Deanna Rayburn. And
House
the,
guest.
and the winner that I have not mentioned yet, so it's not House Guest,
Oh.
is Down the River Unto the Sea by Walter Mosley. Which is interesting because Walter Mosley is a long-established mystery writer with long-running series, and not that that's unheard of, but I was a little surprised that
Right.
that won.
Yeah.
But
Yeah. That's one of the few names I recognize.
Yeah, congratulations to Walter Mosley and Down the River Unto the Sea. We do have all that we mentioned here, so if you'd like to check out any of these books, come to your friendly neighborhood
We're
David A. Howe Public
killing it.
Library and do it. All right, let's see what's on the New York Times bestseller list.
Woo.
We've
All
been
right.
away for a little while, so I'm curious to see
You
what's
think
there.
there's going to be some changes, but there will be some changes.
Interesting.
That's how I would market most movies. Like Avengers,
Yeah.
I'd be like, you think things will change. And they also
Some
will.
things might.
They
Okay.
definitely expect, and they will. Right. This is why I don't get hired to make movie posters or anything.
No.
I haven't
No,
been paid
sir.
for this podcast in over a year and a half.
Really?
Yeah.
You should open your envelopes.
Oh, my paychecks.
Your paychecks, yeah.
I have to open them.
You do have to open them.
That
You do.
explains all the debt.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yep.
You're on some tough times.
Yeah. I had to sell 3 of my dogs.
How many do you have left?
None. I had 3 dogs.
Oh, that's sad. All right. Well, what's on the New York Times bestseller list?
Do you know beagles can also technically be the Iditarod?
No.
They're normally food for the pack, but sorry, little dark humor about a beagle I have.
That was
He's fine.
very dark.
All right, so the New York Times bestsellers list for hardcover fiction.
Yeah.
Number 10 is a repeat. It's been here for 4 weeks. The Cornwalls Are Gone by James Patterson and Brendan Du Bois. An Army intelligence officer must commit a crime or lose her kidnapped husband and daughter.
Ooh.
Yeah. So James Patterson is here at number 10. Hi, James. Do you recognize this co-author? Is this new? Brendan Du Bois?
It was not one that I recognized.
Yeah. All right. Clive Cussler is at number 9 with Celtic Empire. Clive Cussler and Dirk Cussler.
Interesting.
The 25th book in the Dirk Pitt series. Dirk Pitt, he's feeling a little old these days. He's got a bad back.
He's long in the tooth.
Yeah. Number 8.
Long in the tooth.
The Silent Patient, which has been here for 11 weeks, by Alex Michaelides. Theo Faber looks into the mystery of a famous painter who stops speaking after shooting her husband.
Interesting.
Yes. Her husband also stopped speaking after being shot by his wife.
That's usually how it works.
Yeah. Harlan Coben is at number 7 with Runaway by Harlan Coben. I just said Harlan Coben twice.
Yeah, you did.
That was actually a third time for people really paying attention. But a family is torn apart when the daughter becomes addicted to drugs and goes missing.
Might as well face it.
Nope.
Go on.
Wow. Okay. Number 6. 2 weeks on the list. Well, this is new to us because we haven't been here in 2 weeks.
Yeah, we haven't.
Someone Knows by Lisa Scottolini. A dark secret emerges when Allie...
Scottolini.
What?
Scottolini. Lisa Scottolini.
Why do you keep saying it?
That's what it is.
That's how I'm supposed to say it?
You said Scottolini.
Yeah, I've been saying that for
always thought it was
192
too,
episodes.
but I was talking to her people about getting her to come here.
Scottolini.
And they were like, it's actually, and I was like, darn it.
Oh.
So
Lisa Scottolini. A dark secret emerges when Allie Garvey returns home to attend a childhood friend's funeral. Oh, geez, don't do that.
I'm not prepared for when they twist sad at the end. Because
Really?
I'm thinking of something funny, and then I'm about to say it, and then I laugh.
Yeah, a mom and her daughter are enjoying a trip to the beach when they're murdered by Big Bird at the beach.
Wow. That's not what I wanted you to say at all.
In the Big Bird murders.
Yep.
All right, number 5, new this week, Star Wars, Master and Apprentice by Claudia Gray.
Yes.
And I'm not surprised it made the list because I want to read it.
I want to read it as well. But I'll tell you, I read Claudia Gray's Bloodline, which was a Leia book. I love Leia, but I thought that book was really lame.
Oh, well, I read Lost Stars by Claudia Gray, and I really like that. And I don't like YA romance.
Look, it's not a competition.
It's not.
We're
not competing. So on the cover is Qui-Gon and a young Phantom Menace era Obi-Wan. So you still got Ewan McGregor in the ponytail.
Yeah.
The bond between Qui-Gon Jinn and Obi-Wan Kenobi is tested when they go on a mission to the royal court of Pajal.
Okay.
I'm familiar with that planet.
Me as well not.
Okay. Weird Yoda. Yoda's weird cousin who got hit on the head. But yeah, this is one of the first Star Wars books in a while, I think, that I'm like, oh, I got to read that one.
Really?
Because, well, when they first started this Disney imprint, I was like, oh, I got to read all these. And then they just started doing a bunch that I was like, oh, I don't care.
No thanks.
I don't
Disney.
care. But now this one, yeah. Lost Roses is at number 4. Lost Roses by Martha Hall Kelly. In 1914, a New York socialite, I can say it if you just give me a chance. The New York socialite Eliza Faraday works to help white Russian families escape from the revolution.
Okay.
But then they're murdered by Jack the Ripper dressed as Big Bird.
That's confusing.
No.
So wait, what are they running from?
The Russian Revolution. Russian Revolution?
A singular Russian Revolution. Okay.
A revolution in 1914.
Okay.
So, and Faraday is a comic book name.
That's cool.
Faraday, right? From DC. All right, give me nothing.
All right, I don't remember.
The guy with the white hair who smokes a lot and is like, hey, Wonder Woman, you got to go on a mission. I'm Faraday. That guy.
King Faraday?
Yeah.
A fictional secret agent featured in DC Comics?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, you're right.
Boy, I was left stranded there.
Oh, there he is. Boy, he's a tough operator.
Yeah.
Look at him.
Yeah. Now it's your turn, Martian Manhunter, to go on this mission.
Faraday first appeared in Danger Trail #1, July 1950. Created by Robert Kanigher and Carmine Infantino.
Yeah. How come you don't go on any dangerous missions, Faraday? I'm going to see my ex-wife for alimony payments. You don't think that's dangerous?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Boy, halfway through, I'm like, you have to finish. You have to commit.
You do have to go through it. And I'm glad you did.
All right, number 3, Normal People by Sally Rooney. Normal people also, by the way, are the ones who just enjoyed that Faraday humor.
Yeah.
So, the connection between a high school star athlete and a loner ebbs and flows when they go to Trinity College in Dublin.
Makes perfect sense.
There's a lot there.
There is.
So it's a high school star athlete and a loner.
Yeah.
but their connections are ebbing and flowing because
Apparently.
they're going to Trinity College in
Yes.
Dublin. But
Yep.
where did they start?
That's a good question.
Are they native to Dublin?
Maybe.
And then they're just going to the school that's closest?
Entirely possible. Well, remember, as we learned with Killer Chef,
Right.
the little things that are written here, not
that's
always.
baloney. Number 2 is where the crawdad sings. Again, made my wife very emotional. She almost cried. She said
Really?
she didn't.
Really?
But she
Heart
almost
of
did.
stone, that one.
And number 1, is this new this week? Oh my goodness, it is. Can I help you?
You were like, oh my goodness. You sounded funny. That's all.
Number 1, Redemption by David Baldacci, the 5th book in the Memory Man series. So get ready for this book to be on this top 10 for a while.
That's true.
The first man Amos Decker put behind bars asked to have his name cleared. But if
David-
the Memory Man remembers anything,
Yeah.
it's not to trust the first man he put behind bars.
Big Bird. David Baldacci is one of those things that I would put in, say, same category with like a Doctor Who, where it's super popular and I don't understand the appeal.
Wow. Those are 2 very different examples. David Baldacci and Doctor
I know,
Who.
but it's the same kind of thing. It's just passionate fan
I
base.
think you don't like Doctor Who because sometimes he's like, oh, look, I found a cabbage, but it's actually a Tyrannosaurus space monster.
Well, yeah, that's true. I think you got it.
I-
Baldacci does similar things. No, he's just a terrible writer.
Oh, my gosh. Jeez.
Oh.
You can find Nick at...
All right. Is that it for the New York Times bestseller list?
It better be. I don't think we can alienate anymore. Jeez. David Baldacci, number 1 on the New York Times bestseller list.
So there's Jess.
Oh, wow. How'd
All
she
right,
know?
Let's do it. Let's talk.
How'd
Treasure
Jessica
Island.
know?
Because I texted her.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it's technology. I'm Jessica. Yeah, there she is. All right. We gotta switch mics.
Switch out mics. Okay, that mic's on.
Okay.
So now they can hear you.
Yeah, Sonic looks bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Wait, is Jess? I can't see the image.
Oh, I don't need to be older.
Yeah, you gotta sit next to me. Sorry.
There's the mic, so make sure you talk loud.
What is Dreamy saying?
Oh, we're talking
Maybe
about Sonic.
it'll
I forgot
be
the
good,
mic's on.
bad.
I can talk to you. Yes. Yeah, maybe Sonic will be good, bad,
No.
but it's just the look of it is
I'm already
so
I'm still not on
unappealing.
camera.
Okay. I just don't.
All right, I'll move the camera. Jess is trying to be coy. She on the camera now?
Yes.
Yep, she's there. Mine is like paused. We don't need headphones anymore, right?
No, we don't need anything.
Okay.
But they still look good on camera.
Oh, okay. Then Jess doesn't have one.
All right, I'll just wear them. Then I look like I'm the producer.
Yeah, you do.
So,
Can we hear? Ooh. Oh, these are still. I mean, I can hear them.
yeah.
Okay. No problem.
All right. Let me put this Yeti on.
This
And
is
we're back.
Must be really interesting for people.
Yeah, we're back. That's how the sausage gets made.
Yeah, it does.
You don't want to eat pork, then don't go to the slaughterhouse.
All right.
Wait.
I don't think you eat at a slaughterhouse. I'm going to take this off because I can't
All right.
hear. All right, we're ready to go back in?
Sure
All
are.
right, I'm going to take us back in. All right, as promised at the top of the show, Jessica Wyschek is joining us.
Woo!
I said your name, but I can't spell it. So,
Most people can't.
all right, that's fine. So, Jess and I were looking for, we had a hold in the schedule in the auditorium, and we were trying to find something cool and theatrical to do. And how did you come across, is it Hampstead Theater, Drew?
Hampstead Theater Company.
Yeah.
Hampstead Stage Company.
Yeah.
Our children's librarian Kate actually gave me a website to look at programs and prospects, and they had done The Secret Garden years ago.
Okay.
And I'd gotten their website, and they were still legit
Still going
and
strong.
running. And yep, they still come in our area, and they were doing. They just happened to be doing Treasure Island until May 5th, actually.
Okay. Oh, wow.
But
So we just made
just
it.
made
Just
it.
made it.
Yeah,
Okay.
they still had Saturday open, and yep.
And I was saying at the top of the show, it's just a two-person group that
Yep.
goes through and plays all the roles and everything. So anyway, we got this scheduled for the auditorium, and then we sort of got to talking about it, and none of us had read the book, which, and I don't even
That's
think-
true.
Now, I know you've Eric's read all the illustrated classics. Did you read those as a kid? The little
No.
like okay.
No.
See, I loved those. They had them. I feel like I got them at the pharmacy where it was like little tiny paperbacks. You know what I mean? Is that what you had?
I had like a box set that had a bunch of them, and then my library just
Of
had
the
a
big
bunch.
hardcover or
No. Well,
Yeah.
both.
mine
I
were
had
like
the
little
soft
tiny,
covers,
almost
yeah.
like the size of like a
Squares.
piece of bread.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it would be every other page was a picture, and they were
Yeah.
heavily abridged, of course. But I didn't even read the Treasure Island of that. I'm pretty sure I read Kidnapped and what's his other big one? Jekyll and Hyde. Dr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde.
Too scary.
But I don't think that I ever read Treasure Island. So my only experience with Treasure Island would be, anybody care to guess? The Muppets. So why don't we start there? What did you guys see?
Should we? Because
Yeah.
the 3 movies I'm familiar with
Yeah.
are all Disney.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
So there's the Treasure Island movie.
Well, I thought we could talk a little bit about how we first were aware.
Okay.
We're aware of the
All right.
story.
All right.
So I mean, for me, it was either the Long John Silver's fast food fish chain,
Right. Sure.
or the Muppets. But the Muppets was the first thing I saw. What about you, Jess?
I think I always knew it was a story. I just never
Have you seen Muppet Treasure Island?
parts of it.
Oh my gosh.
It's actually I looked for it
Stop
when I was
everything.
reading it.
Nice. Yeah, that's super fun.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think it's a Drew Struzan poster too.
Is it? Oh, I
Yeah.
think you're right. I
Because
think you're right.
he commented in his book that when you just take pictures, when you just use photos of the Muppets,
Yeah.
they're just fabric
Right.
and everything. But so he like draws life into them.
That's
So,
cool. Was it Muppets for you?
Yeah, though I feel like I had to see something else.
See-
I've never read the book, so maybe I just like looked through the Treasure Island illustrated classic and looked at
Okay.
the pictures without actually reading it.
See, now I love the classic Disney films like 50s and 60s, like Swiss Family Robinson. Have you guys seen the live action? Swiss
No.
Really?
Yeah.
You? Not me? Oh my gosh, that's one of my favorites. I love all of those though. Escape to Witch Mountain, all that. The first one they did was Treasure Island.
Yes, which
And-
is Disney.
Yeah, which is Disney, and I've never seen it. I don't know why, but I
Wow.
never have. So it's really just the Muppets is my only really like experience with this story.
Okay.
All right, so why don't we jump in? Why don't we jump in and talk about the book a little bit, and then we can come back around to some other things. All right, so first, I was looking into the book a little bit, just about how it came about.
All right.
Robert Louis Stevenson is the author, born in 1850. He was Scottish. His father was a very famous engineer and inventor. His grandpa also an inventor, so he came from this line. And he was writing, and he was trying to sort of make a go of it. You know, he was about 30 when he wrote it. Just trying to make a go of writing, wasn't really working. And then he got like this picture in his mind of an island, and so he actually drew this elaborate island and thought, well, that's Treasure Island. And then the story just kind of came from that, like his initial thing with drawing this island, and then the original map when he sent it into the publisher and all that was lost, so he had to recreate it. Was never able to get it like quite right,
Just like the
I know,
story.
according to the original. So this is another that was originally published in installments in a magazine form, which I actually didn't pick up on that. Did you guys?
I
Like
didn't know
Boy's
that.
Life.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
I
like
don't know.
pacing wise, sometimes, like with the Asimov book we read, you really could tell that it was like, and this is the first one, this is the
Right.
second one. I thought this one had a pretty nice flow. It didn't feel particularly like slow or. Eric, you did it in one sitting, right?
Did it
You
in
sat
one
down and
sitting.
Powered through.
Oh yeah, I lost that whole day. You definitely know it's an older book because it starts with the character explaining why he's even writing this book.
Yeah.
Which is an old where it's like I've been asked to record everything that's happened
Yeah.
and to tell the truth. It's like
true.
you could just it's funny. You don't see that a lot. Animorphs actually started with that.
Was that written by Robert Louis Stevenson as well?
Animorphs?
Yeah.
No.
Oh,
no.
different.
There's no Treasure Island
Different
stuff in
author.
Animorphs. What was your question?
Yeah, that's a good point.
pacing.
Well, we were talking about pacing, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't have guessed it was written in magazine installments.
No, and you said it felt like an old book.
Yeah.
Did you find that, Jess? Did it
Yeah.
feel old timey to you? Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, there was
You're a bit
certainly
old timey yourself.
You're right. I was sitting in a rocking chair, winding my Vitrola, playing my '78 records,
Yeah.
while
Petting your old hound dog.
We're talking about who's the oldest is
Steady
at the
boy.
table right here. That would be me.
You're older.
I'm
You're older than
older.
me. Wow. Okay. But I actually didn't. I thought that it held up pretty well. Like I didn't. It didn't feel stuffy to me, which is kind of what I thought it would be. I thought having Jim Hawkins is the center of this book. I guess maybe we should tell, if you're not familiar with Treasure Island, do you want to summarize it for us? The look of panic in Eric's eyes when I
Jim
just threw that to
Hawkins
him.
finds a treasure map, gets a crew together.
Yeah.
That includes some
just
ne'er-do-wells.
yeah.
They find Treasure Island very quickly.
Yeah.
And then there's a mutiny.
Yeah.
And they have to find the treasure before the mutineers.
And Jim gets a little caught in the middle because of his
Yeah.
relationship with Long John and his loyalty to the captain.
Yeah. In this
interesting
original
response.
book,
Yeah.
I did not pick up on like Jim and Long John Silver having any like father-son or friend relationship
I
at
don't
all.
think it was a father-son relationship, but I think that at least despite everything else that was going on and where Long John's like loyalties were, I always felt like he really did like Jim.
Oh,
You didn't find that?
I didn't find that at all.
What do you think, Jess?
I thought so.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
And I think that for me was one of the more interesting elements of it because you're right. I mean, Jim basically was it Billy Bones who comes in and he has the black spot and it's his map and it's just Jim and the mom and they're like going through trying to find this before like everybody comes and so Jim is just automatically thrust into the middle of this, kind of not against his will necessarily, but I don't think he was setting out to like do this sort of thing, and so he has to sort of think on his feet and go along, which I think is an interesting way like to get into the story.
Sure.
I think if you didn't have, I think that's what sets it apart, having a younger primary character be what gets things going.
Right.
You know, I liked that. Like reading it, I thought that was cool.
Right.
That was what was driving it.
Sure.
And I think that Long John as a character is unique in that, probably maybe more unique for his time, because now that's become kind of an archetype, the sort of roguish, like you can't really trust him but you still like him. But I think that's a lot more common now than it would have been in the late 1800s when this was written. But let's talk about Long John for a little bit. What did you think of him?
It's fine. I didn't like reading his dialogue. The dialogue in the book, like the pirate dialogue.
Oh,
I'm
like
just
the-
like,
like
oh
the
boy,
dialect, you
I'm
mean.
sure this is real.
Yeah.
It didn't make for good reading,
Yeah.
in my opinion. I don't know. I felt like everything in the book is better elsewhere, including Long John Silver.
Oh, you're right. It's a good thing Robert Louis Stevenson's long dead. You're really,
No,
you're
I
sticking
just
it to
didn't.
him.
I mean, I don't know. I guess you're right because it's been done so many times. So
Yeah.
it feels kind of tired, even going back to the original ones. Like, oh, he's a scallywag, but he's got a good heart, but he'll also slit your throat, but he'll also pet a kitten.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
he's got a parrot.
Yeah,
So-
that's fun. That's fun.
Yeah.
I don't know, Jess. What about you, Long John? Was he like was that a character you enjoyed reading?
What did they say about his face? It's like the size of a ham. And I was like, that's pretty good descriptive, though.
Yeah.
Because, like, I then just imagine a giant, like,
Yeah.
cooked ham
Yeah.
on his head. I'm like, that's what he looks like.
Yeah.
Looks like a ham with eyes.
Did you picture him as a ham with eyes, Jessica?
No. But it's that classic, it's the classic literature description.
Yeah.
And that's where it was like, all right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow, I think I liked this book more than either of you. Did you
Yes.
guys not like it?
I liked it. I mean, it's a good story, but it's the older feel.
Okay.
It's just not like the modern
I think
books now.
it's too long for its own good.
Well,
But maybe that's because it was separated.
yeah, I guess that
didn't
could
realize
be.
that was happening.
I guess
I just
that could
think
be.
like we get to Treasure Island very quickly.
Yeah.
But then they just kind of faff about for a long time.
Yeah, but I liked the stuff with the castaway who was stuck on the island.
Yeah.
Like who'd been marooned by Long John's previous crew.
Yeah.
Like or Flint. Is it Flint?
Someone.
Flint's treasure is the one that they're looking
Flint.
for. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that Jim comes across this guy, and I thought I was never quite sure where his loyalties were, like because Jim was very forthright with him and very trusting with him from the beginning. I don't remember this character's name.
I
Are
liked
you guys?
Ben Gunn.
Ben Gunn. Okay.
like the big fight between Jim and whatever his name was on the ship.
Uh-huh.
Shot him right in the face.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll blow your brains out, and then he does with 2 pistols. It's like, I
That's
don't.
pretty intense.
I abhor violence, but okay.
That worked for you. That
So,
worked for you.
yeah.
Yeah, but so Jim and Ben on the island, he's just kind of like, here's everything that you need to know. And I thought, oh, that's so naive. That's a bad idea, because this guy's been trapped on an island for 3 years. He
Yeah.
just wants to get off. Like,
Yeah.
he's not going to... I don't think he's going to stay loyal
Yeah.
to Jim. I think he's going to think, how do I get my crazy self and my money off of this island? So that was a little tense.
Cheese wouldn't have been what I wanted. Because he was like, all I want is a piece of cheese. I'm like, of all the pieces of food you could ask for if somebody has, you just want cheese?
I would, it seems like cheese. It really seems like cheese would make you sick after that long, without...
Your body doesn't really handle dairy
he's
well.
He's not being rational, you know. But what would you want?
I don't know, something cooked, something warm.
Yeah.
Probably haven't had a hot meal in a long time.
I mean, I think mine would be the obvious, would be pizza, you know.
Pizza,
I would want like a nice thick cheese pizza. Mm-hmm. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Let's talk more about Long John.
Wait, that's cheese though.
Yeah. You're right, it is cheese.
You're gonna have the same problem.
Okay, but it's bread with a layer of cheese. So it's not just like a...
So as long as they give you like maybe like even cheesy breadsticks, you'd be happy.
I would be okay with cheesy breadsticks. Absolutely, I would. Absolutely, I would.
But so if they just had mustard on board, I'd probably drink that thing like it was water.
Yeah. Okay.
So
just mustard. I thought that Long John was a little bit more... He came across a little bit more... I don't know. He always seems to be... Yeah, kind of. He always seems to be... I always picture him as a very cool, like, smooth character.
Is that how you picture him?
Yeah, I guess maybe just because of Tim Curry and the Muppets.
I was just going to say, that's...
I guess reading Long John Silver, I'm like, oh, this is like your friend's dad who's trying to be cooler than he is, and it's obnoxious. He's like maybe a car salesman,
right?
But he's obnoxious. So I guess I had a negative experience with that cool cat.
Well, I didn't. That's what I mean. Like,
what you got there? 10 speed? Cool.
Reading the book, I had always kind of interpreted, before I read the book, I had pictured the character of Long John as a cool like cat. A smooth operator who was just going to like get in there and get the job done and like be cool above other things. But he was just kind
of... John Travolta as Long John Silver.
Hey, everyone. But he was just kind of a... I don't know. He was a little like cowardly and like he doesn't really have a good ending in the book. Like he doesn't
just disappears.
He doesn't end heroic. It's just kind of like, well, Long John's gone. You know, spoiler alert. The book's like 200 years old. So
is it 200?
No,
you're on our case about it feeling like it's an old book, and you're saying
it's like 130 years old. Probably written in 1880, something like that.
Man,
so it's old.
Yeah. Don't I know it?
It's as old as your jokes.
Right. No.
Oh, you're not gonna. No high five on that one.
Nope.
No high five on that one.
Nope.
Well, I thought that it moved pretty well. I liked Jim. I didn't really feel like many of the supporting characters stood out to me that much.
No. I guess the captain had a personality.
But he was still pretty like, wasn't that much. There wasn't much to him. Like he was kind of just the traditional like honorable captain.
Yeah.
Again, he felt like an archetype to me, but it's hard to judge a book at a time when archetypes are being developed. You know, it's hard to use today's interaction with that character as what it would have been written as originally. But I think overall, I don't know that I would like give this to a 13-year-old kid and be like, prepare to be dazzled, you know, because I don't know. Well, what do you think?
Are you homeschooled? You'll probably enjoy Treasure Island.
That's weird.
No, it's just because... All
right. But I mean, would you suggest it to a kid?
No, I want that child to keep reading.
Right.
So I would not give them Treasure Island today.
But I think the story is still good.
Yeah.
So
maybe find a better pirate book then.
Yeah, there's
newer pirate book.
I was looking at the different adaptations, and there's not a ton of adaptations of this that are recent. I mean, there's a lot of
I'll give them Pirates Latitude.
The Michael Crichton book. No, thank you. So let's look a little bit at the adaptation. So first of all, there are many prequels and sequels that were written by a variety of authors over the years. Robert Louis Stevenson's play Admiral Guinea, which was published in 1892, features Pew. Do you remember Pew? He's the old blind pirate. Yeah,
gets run over by some horses.
Pew is a character in his play. So that's the only time that Stevenson himself ever really mess with these characters again, outside of a short story where he has puppets of Captain Smollett and Long John talking. So that's the only time Stevenson himself addressed it. There are many different things. A.D. Howden Smith wrote a prequel called Portobello Gold that tells the origin of the buried treasure. That was probably the earliest. That was in the 20s. And then there's many, many more since then, including one in 2012 by Andrew Motion called Silver, Return to Treasure Island. So, I mean, over the years, this has been gone back to many times. Captain Hook mentions Long John Silver in Peter Pan, like as a character. So
Oh.
like there's a loose connection there, but I think it was really just J.M. Barrie sort of including a nod to that.
Sure.
So it's not an Avengers style pirate universe. If that's what you're wondering.
Huh.
I
guess that's the Pirates of the Caribbean movie.
Yeah, I guess
'Cause
so.
They had Blackbeard in the 4th film.
I guess so. Oh,
What?
this says in Blade Runner 2049, which I didn't see.
I didn't see either.
Deckard explicitly references Ben Gunn's craving for cheese upon his first meeting of the protagonist. So
What a literate film.
I guess there you go. As I mentioned, the only movie that I've seen is The Muppets, and I feel like I've seen Treasure Planet.
Okay, so there's the old Disney film that we have in the library.
Uh-huh.
That you know what? I'm thinking of Blackbeard's Ghost, aren't I? What's the one with the guy who looks like he's got a red nose?
Oh, that's Blackbeard's Ghost.
Oh,
Yeah,
never mind.
The Disney movie, I think it's from the 50s. I want to say. 1950. Bobby Driscoll, who was the voice of Peter Pan.
Yeah.
And Robert Newton. Yep.
Yeah. So Walt Disney does this Treasure Island movie, and then probably some others that we don't know about.
Uh-huh.
But by the time Muppet Treasure Island's out, Disney owns the Muppets.
Oh.
So this is
Interesting.
Disney doing Treasure Island again.
Yeah.
And then they go and do the animated film Treasure Planet.
Yeah.
So,
Huh. Guess they've done it a lot. But there's
Yeah.
not like a Treasure Island setup at Disney, is there? I don't think
No.
they really do that. There is a sequel to the... there's a sequel to the original Disney movie called Long John Silver.
yeah.
And it's not made by Disney, but it uses the same cast. And then it went on to also be a TV series.
Cool.
With some of that. So,
Wow.
yeah, I guess there is a whole interconnected...
All right, which Treasure
Work.
Island movie are we talking about right now?
Treasure Planet.
Oh, boy.
Take it away. Have you seen Treasure Planet, Jess?
I have not.
Really?
Treasure Planet, Joseph Gordon-Levitt
Is that
is
true?
the main kid. Martin Short's in there as a
Yeah,
robot. He's
yeah.
the stranded one
Yeah,
on the island.
yeah.
Has like a breakdown.
Right.
I don't think anybody important plays Long John Silver. I could be wrong, but he's
I
like
don't remember.
he's got a robot and he has like a robot leg and a squishy little metamorphosis blob thing as a pirate.
Wow.
A
Parrot, you mean?
Yeah, as a parrot. And there's a song in there by the Goo Goo Dolls.
I think it's just John Resnick solo, but yeah.
Oh, really? Okay. Well,
That is a good cast. David Hyde Pierce as Delbert Doppler. Emma Thompson is in it. She plays the captain.
yes.
Brian Murray. Oh, like Brian Doyle Murray?
I don't know. We're just saying names now. Look, Treasure
No.
Planet is not an exciting or good movie.
Is it not?
It's pretty lame. This came out maybe like right after Dinosaur. I can't remember exactly. But
That's a bad time.
This was in between where Tarzan / Lilo and Stitch ended the good animated Disney, and before like Frozen, put them back on the map, or Tangled, or
Whatever you like.
Princess and the Frog. But
I love
this.
Princess and the
Was that rough Home on the Range Brother Bear?
I think this is one
Kind
that
of era.
has like a small but passionate fan base. There's some people who love
Everybody
this
has
movie.
to. People. Anyway.
There's so many though. There's a 1990s one with Charlton Heston and Christian Bale.
Huh.
So there's a million adaptations to this. Not many are successful, and nothing all that recent as
No,
well.
the Walt Disney movie is skippable. The animated
Treasure Planet.
I remember there were like the animation style was kind of impressive because I think the planet and all the gold and everything was CGI.
Okay.
But I remember just being real bored by it as a kid, and I would have been like 15,
Okay.
or something, 15 or 16. So, but I knew people in college who watched it
Yeah,
willingly.
I
apart
know
from
that
anything
I've
else.
seen it. I know that I've seen it because I remember Martin Short, but it didn't do much for me.
All right.
But I love the soundtrack to the Muppet Treasure Island.
Yeah, Muppet Treasure Island's good. And you haven't seen this, Jess?
I haven't.
You gotta stop.
What's
it.
the Muppets?
We're gonna
I
place a hole
know.
for you.
This was
That's
right
required.
after Muppet Christmas Carol.
Yeah.
It's where like Disney was treating the Muppets as like actors who then like
Yeah.
just did other movies.
And I wish they would have continued that because
Yeah.
they just did the 2, and then it was Muppets from Space.
Yeah.
And they didn't do another book
Muppet
adaptation.
Treasure Island I feel like is more comedy than
Yeah,
Christmas
that's probably
Carol
true.
is.
But it's funny because I've seen Christmas Carol hundreds more
Yeah.
times than
It's my
Treasure.
favorite.
It is great.
Yeah.
Than Treasure Island.
Yeah.
And they didn't do another book adaptation until Muppets Wizard of Oz, which no one liked.
Yeah.
So.
But Treasure Island's nice because it keeps up with the Rizzo Gonzo
Yeah.
2-person act. And,
yeah, it really is a good.
Yeah. There's
Well,
Miss Piggy has some good stuff, but Tim Curry is also great.
Oh, yeah.
in it. So he
I was
kept
just
up
gonna
that
say.
tradition of where Michael Caine
Yep.
did like a really good Scrooge,
Absolutely.
and then Tim Curry's like, "No, this is a real movie. I'm
Yeah.
really doing this." I mean, he gets to be funnier
Yeah.
than Michael Caine got to be.
Yeah,
but
but they both, I think, stand out as like some of the best who have played those characters, and they played them in Muppet movies, which is interesting.
yeah, I was thinking about, and I think Muppet Treasure Island is the one where I'm like, oh, Long John Silver and Jim are like friends and have like like this almost father-son or whatever kind of relationship.
Yeah, it gets a good relationship. He's a mentor.
Yeah,
at least.
But there's also the Cabin Fever musical number.
Yeah,
which is pretty good.
Yeah.
And I remember the whole like, I'm not Jimmy Jim Jimmy Jim Jim Jim. He's Jimmy Jimmy Jim 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 Jim.
Classic.
So that's And then I was reading the book, and when who's the guy who comes in who's like who keeps drinking and has this story and everything?
Mm-hmm.
Who is it in the book at the beginning?
Oh,
Bill.
yeah, Billy.
Whatever.
Billy Bones?
Bill.
Is that Billy Bones?
Billy Bones, yeah. In the in Muppet Treasure Island when he dies,
Yeah.
they look kind of sad for a second, but then one of them is just like, "We're in the room with a dead guy!"
Yeah.
And they freak out.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
was
that's
good
great.
stuff. So
All right, so what is our final takeaway from Treasure Island? I liked it. I thought it held up pretty well. I don't think that I would hand it to like a teenager and be like, "Here you go, my friend." But I think, as a work of literature, as a work of fiction, I think that it's stood the test of time for, 130 years or whatever that it's been around. What about you, Jess? What do you think?
I have to agree. I thought it was good. Same. I wouldn't pass it to somebody and be like, you have to read this. But
Right.
it was it's a literary classic.
Yeah.
But it's good.
Yeah, it's one that I'm glad that I've read it, that
Yeah,
I've sat down
I
and
can
read it from
say I
cover
read
to
it.
cover. It doesn't make me want to, I was just looking at some of his other novels here, and I don't think I guess you could make the case that Jekyll and Hyde is as well regarded as this one, but Kidnap is sort of up there, but the rest of them, the Black Arrow, the Master of Ballantrae, the Wrong Box, the Wrecker, a lot of them that are out there that never quite reached that success. And Treasure Island wasn't written in a way that made me want to go out and rediscover Robert Louis Stevenson either. So,
Exactly.
What about you, Eric? I think I know, but
I like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, but it's also a book that doesn't really get interesting until the second half, where Mr. Hyde is like, here's my story, which also happens with Frankenstein. So I guess maybe everybody was putting them in magazines, and this was the thing. I don't know.
The Strange Case of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is also very short. It's shorter than Treasure Island.
It sure is.
It's a novella.
Yeah.
And it's written for adults too, whereas I think that's his more.
Yeah, I'm glad I've read Treasure Island because now I can feel snooty at parties.
Does that come up a lot? People are like, "Oh, he hasn't even read Treasure Island."
Not too much.
More times than I
But
can
on
count.
Goodreads,
Really?
a lot of my Goodreads friends,
Yeah.
who I never see update their actual books, have all marked Treasure Island and marked it 5 or 4 stars, and I can be like, that's BS. You did not read Treasure Island and think this was a 5-star read. So, and if you did, I don't have anything else to say to
I
you.
think that I gave it 4 stars, but I think it was more maybe 3 stars enjoyment, 1 star
that-
appreciation.
That kind of old-fashioned, just, I don't know,
I'm a
these
sucker
type
for
of adventure books.
Adventure
Yeah.
books, yeah.
So
I like a good shipwreck.
I think it helps that I've seen Muppets.
Yeah.
I think it helps that I play the game Sea of Thieves.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't give this to a kid. I wouldn't even really tell an adult oh, you have to read Treasure Island if you want to be I think it'd be it's probably.
But, the thing is, it's a quick read.
Yeah.
And it's a beach read. How about that? Just sit down and read through Treasure Island. I listened to a lot of it on audiobook. The copy on Overdrive or Libby that we have through our library is read by Alfred Molina, and he did an excellent job reading it. So that made it kind of fun.
It's just one of those older styles that's just goes on a little bit too long for that style.
Yeah. I could see that.
Puts me to sleep more than it.
It's not. I didn't feel bored, but when it was over and done, I think that you could have tightened it up, and it would have moved. It would have made for a better story. I think if it was, even 50 pages shorter.
It wrapped up
Yes,
fast too.
yeah,
It was
that's true.
Oh, we're done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Which
Magazine canceled
again,
there.
it would make sense for a magazine too. That
Yeah.
you've got basically one column to end this thing.
Yeah.
So,
There you go.
who knows?
Treasure Island.
We have multiple copies in our system. We have many movie versions of it that you can get. You can get the audiobook from Overdrive or Libby. And his other books we have as well, Kidnapped, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, and all that. And again, you can catch the Hampstead
Stage Company, Saturday, May 4th at 2 p.m.
Performing Battlefield Earth.
No, that's a different thing.
Okay.
They're going to be doing Treasure Island.
All
right, let's talk some library news. Jess, what else is coming up in the auditorium?
We have Sally Ramirez and Doug Robinson. Crimson's coming up Thursday, May 9th at 7.
They were here last year, and I thought they were great. Did you hear them last year?
I haven't.
They're very good.
Latin and world music.
Yeah.
Sounds very interesting.
Yeah, they do a nice job, definitely. All right, Eric, what about you?
We are showing the kid who would be king. Which one? It doesn't matter. The kid is going to be king by the end of the movie. Spoilers. We're showing that May 3rd at 3:30.
And this is the new take on King Arthur.
This is like the middle school kid finds out he's King Arthur, and like this high schooler is Merlin, but it's actually Patrick Stewart in disguise.
That's the only thing that makes me think, well, maybe I should watch it.
I think it looks like the same kids who like the Goonies in the 80s.
I was just going to say, it looks like a throwback to me. It looks like something that would come out when I was a kid.
But now, I don't know. But nobody's going to give it a chance now. But that's happening. Our teen photo show is up, so you can come and vote on the photos.
And when is the reception for that?
I just put my phone down and my computer calendar. Oh, my computer calendar's up. May 7th.
Okay.
So that's a week from today is going to be our reception, which is at 6:30.
All right.
And so that's usually like an hour or an hour and a half where people can just hang out, and there's some refreshments, and you can talk to our judge, Brian Oglesby, who loves talking to everybody who's entered and talk about their work, and they can bring in their more work and show it off. And then we have teen night on Wednesdays and kids night on Tuesdays.
Great.
So
our monthly craft classes continue.
Craft class!
As usual, the book club is at it again with Neuromancer.
George
Gibson's Neuromancer. We're going to be reading
that.
that.
Listeners can do that too. It's a book club
That's
throughout
true.
the world.
That's true. So we're going to be reading that and discussing it here at the end of May. But you can also send us your comments at Facebook, David A. Howe Public Library, Twitter at All the Book Show, or you can send us an old email at wellsville@stls.org.
Yeah.
Anything else for the good of the podcast, Erica?
I see what you did there.
That time I did.
Neuromancer, people think may have created how we decided to interact with the internet.
Really?
In terms of its interface and everything.
Interesting.
So
you think this time around you'll like it?
I think I went in expecting something completely different, and I was in a bad mood and everything. So this time, I'm going to go in with a different headspace.
You're a moody sort.
So it's cyberpunk. It's cyberpunk, and it's considered the great cyberpunk story. And I like cyberpunk, but I've yet to find a real cyberpunk story that I love. So I'm hoping
maybe this will be the one. All right. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Thanks, Jess, for joining us. And we'll see you next week.
And that ends the podcast. Bye, stream. Everybody on the stream, make it saying bye now.
Bye.